in my own life, and maybe you can relate to this too, I have put so much pressure on myself to have everything figured out, to know exactly where I'm going, to know exactly the next step to take. And putting so much pressure on myself to know God's plan for my life. And this is a big question that I have had for a really long time. I think it's like a deep theological question that I've had for quite some time. And that is, how do you know God's plan for your life? How do you know God's will for your life? And I watched a video the other day. Maybe I'll play it in this video so that you guys can see. But it answered such a big question I've had about God's plan for our life. It's raining outside and it's really windy. There's like a storm happening. So if you guys hear that, that's what that is. The trees are blowing so intensely. Anyway, but yeah, just knowing God's plan. And I feel like that question was recently open for me. And I was like, I have to do an episode on this. This would be such a good thing to talk about on the podcast. So here we are. And I hope that this is helpful. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Selah Broadcasting Podcast. I am your host, Chloe, and it is a joy and an honor to be here with you guys today. Wherever you are and whoever you are, I'm so thankful that you are here with me today. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? I hope you all are having a wonderful day today. And guys, I was just thinking about it, and first of all, I just want to say we hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. And when did I start this podcast? Like January 3rd. I started at the beginning of this year. And, I just want to acknowledge milestones, even if they're small ones. One day, I feel like I'm going to look back on this and be like, oh my gosh, if only like I knew where the Lord was taking me and taking all of us actually, and this podcast. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for 500 people who decided to subscribe and listen to this podcast. That is super cool. Talking to my YouTube family. If you are on Spotify, hi. I appreciate you guys too. If you would like to just listen, but I just wanted to say thank you to my YouTube community. This is so cool, guys. We're growing. Our family's growing. And it happened way quicker than I thought it would. This is really cool. I just want to just be appreciative. Thank you. Thank you for 500 Selah community subscribers. I feel like I want to make a name for like our little family. If you guys have any requests, comment them down below, like what we should call ourselves. Like, oh, like you listen to Selah Broadcasting, or a Selah. You're a Selah listener, supporter. I don't know. We'll have to think of a name. But this is really cool. I love this for all of us. So exciting. Okay. God's will, God's plan. What is it? Okay. The reason why I want to talk about this today is because I feel like I hear like such extreme ends when it comes to this topic. Especially like God, when people are talking about like God's plan for your life, when it comes also to like your love life, and there's like two extremes to that too. And I feel like there's like the extreme of like if you're applying it to dating and marriage, like God has one person picked out for you. He has your person. You have to pray for that person and he will reveal to you who that one person is. And then other people are kind of like, I don't think God has anything to do with it. I think it's all up to you. All like who you want to be with, whatever. And I feel like it's the same extreme end when it comes to like God's plan for our life, not even just like one aspect of our life and that could be dating, marriage, picking a career, whatever, but like your life in general. Like God has one path for you and you have to figure out the path. And if you miss it, then you miss it. Then you miss God's plan for you. Or it's kind of like, oh, you can do whatever you want and God will bless it. And when you really hear both of those extreme ends, I'm like, I don't think either one of those are actually biblical, because number one, they're extreme. And number two, I don't know, like they both sound like they have truth to it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if that's all the way quite right. We can put so much pressure on ourselves. I know I have. We can put so much pressure on ourselves to figure out God's plan for us. Like just thinking about it, it starts from the time you're like 18, maybe even younger than that, when you're in high school and your teachers are telling you, you got to get good grades so that you can get into a good school. And then when you're 18, you're expected to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And if you're a person who, since the time you were 18, you were like, I've always known that I wanted to be a doctor, there's nothing wrong with that. Good for you. You know, and then you pursued it and you became what you wanted to be. That is so admirable. And there is nothing wrong with knowing what you want to do. But I feel like the vast majority of us, to expect an 18-year-old to know exactly what they want to do for the rest of their life until they retire, come on now. Come on. And I feel like that is what takes away, I feel like, the joy and the fun of like your early adulthood in your life is the pressure of feeling like I should know by now. I should know what God wants me to do. I feel like there's one thing that he wants me to do and I have to figure it out. And if I don't figure it out, then I wasted all this time, then I messed up. And that's how we can think about our lives. And I'm like, there has to be a better way. There's no way that this is God's will for us, to constantly be stressed, to constantly be overwhelmed, to constantly feel like you're failing. I don't think that's God's will for us either. And when we think like this, when we think like I have to figure out what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. When we think like that and we put so much pressure on ourselves to feel like God is giving us a scavenger hunt or a riddle that we have to solve, if we think like that, it is so easy for us to, I feel like, get in this mindset of like regret, stress, worry, anxiety, feeling paralyzed from making any choices, any decisions, because we're so afraid of choosing the wrong thing. We're so afraid of going down a path that God never told us to go down. We're so afraid of messing up the plan. But in the video that I watched, by the way, I think the man's name that was preaching or speaking, I don't know if I can't tell if he was a pastor or a speaker, but I think his name was Mike Donay. And he was saying in the video, and this stuck to me, God's plan for you is not a specific career path. God's plan for you is not a specific occupation. God's plan for you isn't even like a specific person, like to marry or to be friends with or whatever. God's plan for you is not a specific picture perfect life. God's plan for you is the posture of your heart in your life. And when I heard that, I'm not even kidding, I just sat there, in years of confusion and kind of weight on me was lifted off. Like I felt it. And I was like, that makes so much sense. God's plan for you is not a specific lifestyle. God's plan for you is the posture of your heart within your life. Because what happens if you think that God's specific plan for you, let's say you're 18 and you're about to go to college, you just graduated, and you're stressed because if you think God's specific plan for you is to figure out one specific thing to do for the rest of your life, or let's say, you love, basketball, I don't know, you love art, and you think God's plan for you is only one thing, to be in the NBA. You think God's plan for you is one specific thing. Like I said, you like basketball and maybe you're like, I want to be in the NBA and that is God's plan for me. What happens if you get in an accident and you break your legs? Or in the video, he was talking about, you think God's plan for you is to be a musician. What happens if you get in a car accident and you break your neck? You can't sing anymore, or you break your arm or your fingers. You can't play an instrument anymore. What happens if something unexpected happens? You think God's plan for you is to be a wife and a mother and you get married. What happens if your husband passes away? And I don't wish that on anybody. these things. But what happens if unexpectedly that thing is taken away from you? Did you miss God's plan for your life? Did you miss God's plan for your life? What happens if you wanted a specific engineer job and you're like, God's plan for me is to be an engineer, but then you lose that job? Are you outside of his will? Did you miss his plan? No, because we live in a fallen world. Things are not going to be perfect. Things happen, things change. Because we live in a fallen world, unexpected things happen. We can't help it. If we are expecting things to be easy and for God to lay out everything picture perfectly, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle. If you think that God's plan for you is a specific thing, and when I was thinking that way, I struggled because anytime that there was anything hard happening, I associated that with maybe that this isn't what God wants for me, or maybe that this isn't God's plan. But I was so sure before, so what is God's plan? And it seems like the man said in the video, God's plan for us is not a specific career, not a specific occupation, not a specific lifestyle, but the posture of our heart. Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. That is his plan for us. His plan for us is to love him, and through loving him, we love others through what we do. So honestly, what we want to do is honestly up to us. And I was saying that this kind of confirms something that my pastor was talking about a couple weeks ago. And he said something along the lines of love God and do as you please. And when I heard that, I was like, is he being serious right now? That doesn't sound all the way biblical. Love God and do as you please. We can't do whatever we want. And he kind of made a joke saying like, that sounded a little sketchy, didn't it to you? Love God and do as you please. That sounds like there's something wrong with it. But he was saying, if you love God, you are spending time with him. You are sitting in his presence. You are reading his word. You are dwelling with him. You're abiding with him. You have a hunger and a thirst for Jesus. You seek him in everything you do. If you love God, it's impossible to not please him with that. We please God by loving him. And if you love God, then through what you do, you will want to glorify him. It doesn't really matter what you do. If you are loving God through it, and through loving God, you love others. That is God's plan for us. His plan for us is the narrow path. It's loving him, following him through whatever we do. Like, I used to think that God, do you have like a specific plan for each of us and we're supposed to figure it out? Like a riddle? He's like, no, there's one plan that I have for everybody. Even though everybody is doing different things with their life and I am in control of everyone's life, the plan is still the same. And I'm realizing God's plan for us is the same, but our callings are different. God can be calling you to something. And the thing is, he has created us all so uniquely with different gifts and different talents, whether those are spiritual gifts or just things that you're simply good at, like painting, singing, swimming, dancing, whatever you like to do. God has created us all uniquely with special gifts. So if you are an artistic person, it is expected that you would want to do something more creative with your gifts that you've been given. If you're an outdoorsy person, maybe what you want to do with your life is more towards doing things outdoors. You're mathematical. Maybe you want a job that is more mathematical. So yes, we all tend to lean towards different things, and that's okay. But we have to stop wanting God to specifically tell us. In the video, it was so funny. He said, we have to stop wanting God to say from the sky, doctor, nurse, teacher, content creator. Like, I feel like we want God to say that for us and to lay out a blueprint for each of us. You know, like, here's Chloe's blueprint for her life. Here's Emma's blueprint for her life. Here's Sarah's blueprint. Here's David's. Here's Kyle's. Like, we want God to come down with a plan, like a map for each one of us. And he's not going to do that. We have free will. Love God and do as you please. If you're an artistic person, and you're like, Lord, I really love sewing and I would love to have my own business and make tote bags and make dresses or whatever. I really want to start a business, but I don't know. Is this your plan for me? Is this your will for me? What if I start it and it's not the right thing to do? The Lord is like, girl, if you love me through it, if you want to glorify me through your work, if you love me through it, I will be with you the whole way and I will love you back. If you want to start a business, do it. Go for it. Because the Lord can't bless something that we don't start. He can't bless something if we don't start. If we don't go forward in it. He can't bless it. Because we haven't started it. We're so afraid of making the wrong choice, making a mistake. We want everything to be perfect that we never go through with what he's calling us to do. And okay, oh yeah, maybe that was God's plan for your life, but I feel like that is what God has called you to in your life. The plan is still the same, because even if you start that business, you do that business for 5 years and you're like, this was such a good investment for my life, a good season, but I'm in a different season now and I want to focus on other things. And then we start to think, was that business a mistake? Did I waste so much time? No, you're just in a different season now and and God is maybe calling you in a different direction. But there was purpose in starting that business for you. You learned things. You grew closer to the Lord. It wasn't a waste. It wasn't a mistake. You're just in a different season now. Your calling is different, but the plan is still the same. The plan is still the same. Love God and love others, no matter what you're doing. The plan is still the same. Walk with God. Walk the narrow path. And that's required of all of us. That's what God requires of seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. That's what he expects of us through what we're doing. And to give thanks, pray without ceasing, be joyful in all things. That's his plan. Whether or not you start a business and it's what you do for the rest of your life, or you're in a career and that's what you do for the rest of your life, or you change it, it doesn't matter as long as we're walking with him and we're loving him through it. It shifted my perspective because I was focusing on the wrong thing. I thought the plan was a specific occupation, a specific career, a specific path, a specific way that my life was supposed to look. And the Lord literally revealed to me the plan hasn't changed. I can call you to different things. Calling is not the same. Like a calling is like something he wants you to do specifically in this season of your life. But the plan hasn't changed. Because what God requires of us to get into heaven are not specific skills, a specific degree, a specific certification, a specific whatever, specific amount of schooling. That doesn't matter to him. Here on earth, you have to do those things to get the training that you want, that you need. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be these things, yes, you have to do that. And if that is what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. Step out in faith. Trust that the Lord will be with you. He says, give your plans to me, surrender them to me, dedicate your plans to me, and I will establish your steps. That is what he says. If we want to give them to him, he will establish our steps. He will lead us in the direction that we're supposed to go. He will lead us to the calling that we're supposed to be in this season. But the plan is the same. And it took me so long to realize that and to have those things click for me. He wants his presence with us while we do a job, while we do an occupation. And that is us experiencing his love and giving that love to others. Because the thing is, every job is needed. Every job is important in a specific way. I believe that not one job is more important than the other. I think they all contribute to the society that we live in. So I don't think that you can make a wrong choice, because if you feel led to something, that means God is calling you to it. He's saying you would love this. And if you haven't figured that out yet, that's okay too. That's why we're supposed to try different things. For God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You don't have to fear. You don't have to be afraid to try new things, to venture out. to see what you like. I think that this message is so important for us as young people because we can spend so much of our adult years, especially as a young adult, but even if you're older, this can still happen. Questioning, am I in God's will? Did I miss God's plan for me? What if I had made a what if I had made different choices, would my life look different? It probably would look different. But so if you had made this choice or that choice, that means it would make it impossible for us to win. It would make it impossible for us to know the will of God if we're second guessing every choice that we make, being like, is this what God wanted? We can't mess up his plan for us. We can't, because the plan doesn't change. If you make a decision and you're not loving it, you live and you learn. But that doesn't mean that you disappointed God. That doesn't mean that God is saying, oh, she was supposed to go this way. What am I going to do now? She became a teacher and she was supposed to be a nurse. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to fix this. Oh, she was supposed to go move here, but instead she moved over here. So now I don't know what I'm gonna do at this point because she made the wrong choice. Like, do we really think God is up in heaven thinking this way? And I feel like it's silly when we say it out loud, and we could be like, no, of course not. God knows all things, and he knows the way. He has the plan. Yes. So let's not live in fear and start walking boldly in faith, trusting that God has us, that he's going to establish our steps, that he's going to lead us, and that everything has a purpose. Even if something is only for a season, it had purpose and it was a part of the plan for your life overall, but the ultimate plan is still the same. And God is in control of all of our lives. Let's not forget that. I have to remind myself of that because sometimes I can feel a little out of control. And when I feel a little out of control, and by that I mean like having control over things that I don't have control over, when I feel that way, I can start to feel very stressed. I can start to question everything. I can start to be like, oh, did I make wrong choices? Like, what if I had made different choices? Would my life look different right now? Whether or not it would look different or not, it doesn't matter. Because the thing is, as long as we are walking with Christ and loving him and extending that love to others, we are giving thanks. We are praying without ceasing. We are joyful in all circumstances. We are in his will. That is his will for us. That is his will for us. So I just want to encourage you today, if you are in a position, maybe you just graduated from high school, you're going to go to college in the fall, and you're stressed because you don't know what you want to study, you don't know what you want to major in, or maybe you're post-college and you are feeling like, I don't even like what I majored in. I can't get a job. I don't know what God wants me to do. I don't even know if this is the career I want. Maybe, you're in a career that you thought you wanted, and you're like, this is nothing like I thought it would be. Did I make a huge mistake? If you're in any of those positions, because, life we can't predict life. Maybe you moved somewhere and you miss your hometown, you miss your family, and you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? If you feel any of those things, I know exactly how you feel. And I feel like that's a part of the road. That's a part of being in your early 20s, okay? I'm just kidding. But if you feel any of those things, I want to encourage you and remind you that you have not messed up God's plan for you. You haven't. And everything that you go through has purpose to it. God's plan for you is for you to love him and to be with him. And if you are figuring out what it is that you want to do with your life, be prayerful. Bring it to the Lord. Ask the Lord, Lord, how do you want me to use my gifts? How do you want me to serve you in this world? How do you want me to make a difference in this world? You know, whether that is I'm one day going to speak on a stage in front of thousands of people, or I'm going to stay, in my home and take care of my family, whether that means I'm going to be running my own business, working for a company, whatever comes my way. How do you want me to use my gifts, Lord? And whatever you feel deep in your heart where you're like, I love this, that is what he's calling you to. And you may think, yeah, but that sounds crazy. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Or I don't know if I'm going to make enough money doing that. I don't know if I'm going to, I don't know. Yeah, but remember the God that you serve. He will provide what it is that you need. But we cannot shy away from things because they're not predictable. Because that's where faith comes in. That's where trust comes in. Faith is faith in the sense of believing God who says God is who he says he is, and trust that he's going to do what he said that he's going to do, no matter what that is for you. And as long as we're doing that, we're in God's will. Sometimes you have to make a choice and you're like, this ended up not being what I wanted, and it leads you to something that you did want. You know what I mean? I talk about this all the time. My dad originally was going to go to school for, I think, sports medicine or something like that. He took one psychology class. Now he's a mental health counselor. Did he make a mistake at first by changing his major? No, he just found out what he really wanted to do, what he was called to. And sometimes it takes that. And if you are watching this and you're young, you're 18, you're about to go to college, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Have fun. Have fun finding out the things that you're good at. And if you are good at something and I really want to do this, do it. Do it. It doesn't matter what other people say. And I'm not trying to say that as, don't take advice from other people that you trust or whatever, but don't not do something that you feel called to because you're afraid of what other people are going to say. That is what I'm saying. If God is calling you to it, you best believe he's going to get you through it. You best believe he's going to get you through it. And if you aren't sure, or you did something and you want to change it, there's nothing wrong with that either. Be prayerful and it will be revealed to you. You'll see it, but you did not mess up God's plan by trying something and not liking it. You did not mess up God's plan by not knowing what you want to do, because God's plan is the same. It's universal for all of us. Love God and love others through whatever you're doing. And in the video, I loved when he said this. Instead of thinking, should I be a doctor? Ask the question, what kind of doctor would I be if I was one? Not, should I be a teacher? Should I be a nurse? Should I be a content creator? Should I be a firefighter? Should I be an accountant? Ask, what kind of person would I be if I was that? How would I love people if I was that? That's the questions that we should be asking. What kind would I be if I was that? Not thinking, oh, how much money is it going to make me? Is this going to be able to get me the stuff that I need? Blah, blah, blah. Like, those things are important, but God is the ultimate provider of those things. If you do know what you want to do, or if you're still figuring out saying, you know what? I'm going to try different things. And if I don't like something, I did not mess anything up by switching, by changing. I am growing. I am learning. I'm figuring out what I like. And I know that eventually I will find the thing that I love doing. But I did not mess up God's plan because I wanted to change my major, or I started a career and I ended up not enjoying it. It's okay. It's okay to not know. Because, the thing is, the Lord doesn't want us to worry about the future, and he doesn't want us to dwell in the past. He wants us to be in the present. And if we want to experience God's presence, if we want him to guide us and lead us and reveal answers to us that we've been praying about us, we have to be in the present, because that is where he is. God is the only one that can be in the present, past, and future, because he is the great I am. He is. He is. He is. I am. I'm here. He can see all of it, but we can only be in the present. So if we want those things answered, we have to be present with God while being prayerful about the things that are concerning to us and about the future. But we have to be present and love him and love others. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that this message was encouraging and that we can all take something away from this, because this is something that was so eye-opening for me personally, because, I have not had an easy road, guys. Like, I did not have, everything kind of laid out for me. I have tried so many different things. I've been like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this. And I realized that I had multiple gifts that the Lord wanted me to use. And I thought I had to choose one. And he's like, why do you only have to do one? Do all of them. If you have multiple things that you love, that's okay. And if you have one specific thing that you love, that's okay too. As long as we're loving God and loving others through what we do, it doesn't really matter. Love God and do as you please, because if you love God, that pleases him. So yeah, again, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was encouraging. If you guys enjoyed this episode, leave a comment down below. If you guys want to keep up with me, if you want to be friends, my socials will also be linked down below. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.